Hello students, I am back with another video on consumer behavior and neuromarketing. In this video, I'll be talking about how reference group influences consumer behavior, how the different social classes influence consumer behavior, and why it is important for marketers to understand what reference group or what is the social class his targeted customers belong to, or what kind of lifestyle his targeted customers are leading, because it greatly influences their purchase behavior. So reference group refers to those groups to which a consumer can either belong to, or he aspires or he wishes to belong to such groups. So it can be his family, his friends, his colleagues, or any group that he wishes to become a member of. These are all reference groups. So reference groups can greatly influence consumer behavior. It can greatly influence what kind of products he will purchase and consume. So reference group influence is of three types: informational reference, normative or utilitarian influence, identification or value expressive influence. Information reference group influences those groups which the consumer tries to refer to in order to collect information, useful information, which will help him in his purchase behavior. Utilitarian reference group is where the consumer will try to copy those reference groups in order to get rewards from the reference group, or to avoid any kind of punishment or unpleasant situation. He will try to follow those reference groups. So identification or value expressive influence is when the consumer tries to follow the same values and tries to get the same identity or same self image as that of the reference group. So informational influence is when the consumers copy the attitude and behavior of the reference groups to collect information so that they can make the purchase decisions. So it can be information related to product, or it can be information related to any problem. So they try to make the same purchase decisions as that of the reference group. So suppose you want to buy a laptop. So you will collect information from your college friend who is using a particular brand of laptop. So with that information, it will influence your purchase decision, and you may end up buying the same brand of laptop. So that is known as informational influence. So informational influence can be regarding product characteristics, like when a person is buying a very complicated product or a very highly risky product, then he always tries to collect information from the reference group before he goes for the purchase of the product. So what are the consumer's characteristics? What is the reference group influencer's characteristics? That also affects his what kind of information he collects from the reference group. So suppose, like I told you, he is buying a product in which he has no expertise, he has no knowledge about that product, then he will definitely try to collect information from a reference group who is an expert in that particular area. So in such cases, the informational influence will be very strong. So consumers will collect information from those reference groups, especially when he is buying a complicated product or a risky product, or about a product about which he has no information at all. Group cohesiveness. Cohesiveness means unity. So when the reference group is united, this influences information sharing. They will be more motivated and more ready to share information with consumers about products. Normative or utilitarian influence. This is when the consumers try to follow the expectations of the reference group in order to get a reward or to avoid any kind of unpleasant situation. Suppose the reference group is into purchasing shoes like Reebok shoes, then the customer who wants to belong to that group or who wants to be accepted by that group, he will also go for the purchase of Reebok shoes. So consumers, when they are wanting to purchase a house or car or go for any club membership, they will always go for those products which is purchased by their similar reference group. So this is how they experience normative influence or utilitarian influence. So when they follow the same behavior, same purchase behavior as that of the reference group, they consumers feel that they are rewarded. So when they try to avoid what the reference groups are avoiding, the same thing they try to avoid, then they feel they are following the expectations of the reference group. Like for example, if the reference group they belong to or they are trying to follow is not into drugs or alcohol, then they will also avoid drugs and alcohol to avoid a situation where they may not be accepted by the reference group if they are into drugs and alcohol. Brand choice, congruence, and conformity. When the consumers try to purchase the same brands as that of the reference group, that is known as brand choice, congruence, and conformity. That means they are trying to follow the same brand choices of the reference group and they are trying to accept the same kind of brands or similar brands as that of the reference group. So, like I told you, reference group can be your friends, family, relatives, your colleagues. So, what all are their purchase decisions? The consumer will try to follow their similar purchase decisions. Compliance versus reactive compliance. Compliance means obeying or doing what is asked by others to you, what others request you to do. So, for example, for a marketing research company, they are doing a survey and they want you to fill up a form. So, you will comply, you will fill up the research form, you will fill up the survey form. So suppose you have attended a kitty party. Usually kitty party are organized by ladies, like especially if they are Amway agents. So they'll be selling their products by holding such parties which are called as kitty parties, and they sell their products in those parties which they host. So when the host requests you to buy the products of Amway, and you comply and you buy the products which they are requesting you to buy, that is known as compliance. So parents also show compliance when they agree to purchase toys for their children or when they allow the children to go for activities which the children want to indulge in. Reactive compliance is when the consumer feels his freedom is in danger. He will do just the opposite of what is expected from him from the reference group. That is known as reactive compliance. So, for example, a salesman is aggressively selling you a product and you get irritated and you do not buy from that salesman. That is reactive compliance. So, you are not following the expectations of the reference group. The reference group wanted you to buy the product from the salesman, but since you are irritated with the salesman's sales behavior, you are showing reactive compliance. You are not buying the product which is expected from you from the reference group. So, identification or value expressive influence. This is when the consumers follow the values or try to identify their self image with that of the reference group. So, they follow the values, opinions, and behavior of the reference group. They try to build a self image based on the reference group, what self image or what identity they are expressing. So, this is known as identification or value expressive influence. So, consumers try to associate with positive reference groups and build up their self image. They try to boost their self image, or they try to express the same values and same opinions as that of the reference group in order to be accepted by the reference group. So consumers will follow the same products which the reference group are buying to get the same functional benefits which the reference groups are trying to get. They also express themselves with the same products as that of the reference group. And they also try to get the same emotional benefits by purchasing the same products as that of the reference groups. Applications of reference group. Reference group applications is done in a lot of ways in marketing. It influences greatly on the product purchased, so it varies from product to product. When it is a luxurious product or a costly product, the influence of the reference group is very strong. Like, for example, purchasing expensive watches or going for expensive vacations. So, here the influence of the reference group will be very strong on the consumer's purchase behavior. But when it is day to day products, like what we buy, our daily requirement of products, the influence of the reference group will be very less because these products are brought out of necessity. So also reference groups are used by consumers to compare. So they compare their behaviors, their ideas, their self-image or their identity with the reference group they like or they want to belong to. So they will try to purchase the same kind of products which the reference group is purchasing. They try to collect information from the reference group regarding what type of products to be purchased in the future. They go to the same outlets as what the reference group is going. So in order to be accepted in the reference group, so reference group influence also helps the consumers to socialize. They learn about different lifestyles, different behaviors from different reference groups. So like that they try to build up their self-image. They follow the same norms and behavior of the reference group. They come to know from reference group what is desirable behavior and what is undesirable behavior, and they follow the same what the reference group expects them to follow. So the same behaviors they try to copy as that of the reference group in order to be accepted or recognized by the reference group. Also, the reference group influence helps consumers to understand different lifestyles. What are the different lifestyles the reference groups are following? So, like if for example, if it is a professional reference group, they will be purchasing branded products. So, the consumer will also be influenced if he is following such kind of reference group, he will purchase similar products. Also, the reference group helps him to understand what are the different roles and what is the pattern of behavior for each role. So they will come to know what are the different roles from the reference group members and what is the desired behavior to be shown for each role. So, for example, a chairman of a local charitable group, she will be expected in her professional life to show professional behavior like leading the group or doing administrative tasks or speaking at different fundraising events or hosting the sponsors dinners, etc. In her personal life, she will be expected to guide her children, encourage her children, and support, discipline her children. So, these roles, what are the different roles, and what is the behavior expected from each role? The consumers get to know from the different reference groups they belong to or they wish to belong to. So groups, like we will be active in some groups, we will be belonging to some groups like family, relatives. We will aspire to belong to some groups like we wish to belong to some groups like suppose you want to belong to a bikers group. So that is a group you aspire to belong to in the future, or you want to avoid some groups which is into certain bad habits. So all these groups, the consumers get information, they get rewards when they follow the same behavior, same norms, same purchase behavior as that of the reference group. When they get the identity, they get their self-image by following these different groups. This influences what the consumer purchases, how he uses products, and how he communicates with others. So, group influence or reference group influence is a very important influence on consumer behavior. So, marketers always want to try, like they try to find out what are the reference groups their targeted customers are trying to follow, or what are the reference group their targeted customers belong to. From that, they can come to know what kind of purchase behavior they will show or what kind of products they are likely to buy. Another factor which the marketers try to understand is which social class the customers belong to. So there are different social classes in society. So which social class you belong to, it depends upon your materialistic wealth. So families are categorized according to their social class. Social class is very important for countries' census and for social mobility. Social mobility is movement of people from one place to another, from one society to another. So social class is influenced how it is determined. It is determined by various socio-economic factors like what is your occupation, what job you are holding, what is your education level, what kind of things you are owning, what kind of products you are owning, what is your income level. So that will determine your social standing, that is your social class, whether you belong to upper class, middle class, working class, or lower class. This will determine what kind of products you prefer, what kind of purchase behavior you are showing, what kind of products you are consuming, how you are communicating with others. So social class is a very important factor which is greatly studied by marketers because it greatly influences consumer behavior. So what are the social subclasses? We have upper class, which is the wealthy class, who are landowners, who are noble. It's a very small group in society. This class is like a reference group for other classes. The other classes try to copy this upper classes. This class is used by marketers to do niche marketing. Niche marketing is when a very small percentage of the market, like maybe only 2% of the market, the 2% of customers are very rich, they have expensive taste, they have financial power, they go for high quality products, they are ready to pay any price for luxurious products. So, marketers do niche marketing when they want to sell luxurious products or expensive products to the small group of customers who belong to the upper class. Then we have the lower upper class. This is the group which has become newly rich, the newly wealthy group. So, after a lot of efforts, they must have got money and success. So, usually, this lower upper class will have professionals like doctors, lawyers, engineers, or entrepreneurs who are the first people in their generation, in their family. They are the first entrepreneurs. So, marketers target this lower upper class with luxurious products because they are a wealthy group too, and they will be ready to buy luxurious products to show off their wealth in society, to show off their status in society. Then we have the upper middle class. These are highly paid professionals like managers, professors, intellectuals, administrative executives. These kind of people who are in highly paid professions, they belong to the upper middle class. Though these kind of people, they are professionally educated. They want to lead a decent lifestyle. They want to own attractive products. They want to have visually appealing products which will show their status in society. So, next we have the lower middle class. This class consists of ordinary people like workers, small businessmen, they may be having only school education or college education. Working class is the largest section of the society which the marketers like to target. They may be unskilled workers or semi skilled workers who may be into purchasing of consumer goods. So, the middle class and the working class are the classes which are targeted by marketers because they mostly purchase consumer goods and some of them may be enjoying a high income. So these are the social class subcategories. So what are the determinants? What determines our social class? So income, occupation, our education level, our consumption pattern, all this determines our social class. So income is a very socio-economic important socio-economic variable because from income the marketers can come to know how we spend, what leisure activities or what entertainment activities do we spend upon. So, how do we accumulate our wealth? Wealth is formation of resources. So, do we purchase land? Do we purchase houses? Do we purchase gold? So, how do we accumulate our resources? So, money is how we spend how do we consume different products. So, income is a very important socio-economic variable which determines our social class, and from income what kind of income we are drawing, the marketers can predict what kind of consumption pattern or what kind of behavior we will show in the purchase of products and services. The next factor is occupation, what kind of job we are holding. Different jobs are perceived differently by people in society, like professional jobs like doctor, judge, professor, lawyer. is perceived very highly in society, whereas some jobs like electrician, insurance agents, police officer, these kind of jobs get a average rating or are considered like average jobs by society. Whereas jobs like maids, security guards, cobblers, garbage pickers, these jobs are considered very low in society. So, what kind of job we are holding determines our social class. How our job is perceived by the society people determines our social class. What is our education level, that also determines our social class, whether we have a formal degree or an informal degree, how much time we have spent in getting our education. The more time we spend in getting our education, the higher status we will enjoy in society. So, what is our education level? That also determines our social class. So, social class has a very big impact on consumer behavior. So, that is why marketers always try to study the social class of their targeted consumers. So, people belonging to different social classes, they will have different purchase behavior or different consumption behavior. So each social class of people will have different lifestyles, different food habits, different educational levels, different recreational habits, how they go for entertainment activities. So if it is the upper class, they are the wealthy class, they have power, reputation, affluence, so they will be targeted by marketers with designer clothes, luxurious products, expensive vacations, etc. because they are the wealthy class, the rich class. The upper class is the reference group for all other social classes. So they will be used in advertisements to advertise various products to attract other class customers who want to become the upper class members. So whoever watches such kind of advertisements where the upper class is shown, they try to copy the lifestyle. So the lower upper class people buy luxurious products in order to show off in society. People in the upper middle class, they want respectable careers which has good income, and they always try to move towards the upper class and try to copy the purchase behavior of the upper class. They try to copy the lifestyle of the upper class. The lower middle class people, they want acceptability in society, they want respect in society, so they will purchase those products which will get them respect in society. The upper lower class people, they have less resources, they are mainly buying products to survive, they have no wish to move to the higher classes. And the lower class, they buy only day-to-day products. They just want to buy products which solve their day-to-day problems. They also do not want to move to the higher classes. So this is how the social class is understood by marketers to target each social class with suitable products. So next is culture. Culture is also a very important aspect which the marketers try to understand which culture their targeted customers belong to so that they can target suitable products according to their culture. So, what is culture? Culture is a very complex aspect. It contains all the knowledge, beliefs, values, norms, morals, which is passed on from one generation to another generation. So, there the factors which influence culture is our social factors, and personal factors. Social factors is the reference groups which can directly or indirectly influence purchase behavior of consumers. So when the reference group have a direct influence on the purchase behavior of consumers, they are known as primary groups. With the groups with whom the consumer spends maximum time, like family, friends, work groups, etc. So family is the primary group which is very important for the customers, what their family members purchase, what the elder members in the family purchase, what kind of lifestyle they lead, influences the younger people in the family. So, what kind of roles the people have in different groups, what kind of status they have in different groups like family or clubs or organizations, that also influences their purchase behavior. So, what are the different roles in each groups the members play? Each role they will purchase different kind of products. So, marketers need to understand what are the different roles the customers play in each group so they can target them with suitable products. The next factor that influences culture is personal factors like what is the age group of the targeted customers, which life cycle stage is he in, is he young and single, is he young and married, is he young with young children, or is he married with dependent children, or is he married with independent children who have already settled, or is he a survivor, a widow or widower. So at each life cycle stage there will be different demand for products. So marketers need to understand the life cycle stage, which life cycle stage his targeted customers are in. So, what profession he holds, what is his personality, what is his self image, what is his lifestyle, all this need to be understood by marketers. This influences his culture. So, age and life cycle stage, like I told you, what is the age and which life cycle stage the customer is in will have an impact on his consumption. So there are so many social changes like late marriage nowadays, children going for higher studies, double income families, career oriented youth. So all these social changes have also affected the lifestyle of the customers. So this impact influences their consumption behavior. This changes the culture of the targeted customers. So from this the marketers can understand what kind of products they wish to purchase. Like nowadays, because of these social changes, people are more into convenience products than into traditional products. Convenience products are those products which make our life easy. So this is because of the social changes in society. People don't have the time to go for traditional foods. They want to go for convenience foods. So personal factors, social factors need to be understood by marketers because they greatly influence our culture, and they from that the marketers can come to understand what will be their consumption behavior of targeted customers. So, occupation, what kind of occupation the targeted customer has, whether he is a blue collar worker or a white collar worker, will determine his culture and will also determine what kind of products he will purchase. What is his personality, what is his self image or self concept also affects his consumption behavior. So, marketers need to understand personality traits of their targeted customers, whether he is self confident, aggressive, introvert, extrovert, whether he is a social nature, or whether what kind of personality traits he is having, that has to be understood by marketers. So then they can correctly predict what kind of products and services he is likely to purchase. So, lifestyle. What is the lifestyle of the targeted customers will determine what activities he will do, what is his interest, what is his opinion or viewpoint, what hobbies he will have. So, from the lifestyle of their targeted customers, the marketers will come to know what kind of products he is likely to purchase. So, whether he will purchase affordable products, whether he will purchase expensive products. By studying the lifestyle of the targeted customers, they can predict the consumption behavior, because this greatly influences the consumer behavior of consumers. So that is why Walmart wants to attract mass customers who go for low price. So always they have this campaign, everyday low pricing campaign, in order to attract such mass customers who are looking for low prices. So these are the social factors and personal factors which influence the culture of targeted customers, which need to be understood by marketers. So that is why marketers spend so much of time, money and efforts in understanding the social factors and personal factors, what reference group he belongs to or he wishes to belong to, or which social class he belongs to. The marketers try to understand so that they can correctly predict what will be his consumption behavior. So, okay, thank you. So, I'll end this video, and give me in the comment section if you have any further clarification. Please do comment. Thank you.